Hello and welcome to episode 193 of Just Keep Writing,
a podcast for writers
by writers
to keep you writing.
I'm Marshall.
I'm Nick.
I'm Brent.
I'm Jenna.
I'm Shingai.
I'm Sameem.
LP, bitch.
I was just waiting to see what he was going to say. Oh, I love it. All right, so we've got a full house again. It's been a while since we've got this many folks together, and I feel like it's the right occasion to get as many folks as we could together. So tonight, I'm gonna just say it out loud, and I'll turn it over to Brent here in just a second. This is gonna be Brent's last show as a co-host, and I brought everybody. We want to bring everybody together to talk to him. Send him off in the right way. But I'm gonna turn over to him first before I turn it over to Nick. And I'm just gonna kind of throw it at you and just say, first of all, I'm just gonna say we're gonna miss you like crazy, man. We love having you around here. But I'm gonna let you just kind of explain why you're taking a step back. Obviously this won't be the last time we ever see each other, but we just wanted to kind of be official about it. So I'll let you explain yourself. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So explanation. I essentially, there's come a point in like the past, I'd say last year, where I just kind of realized that I needed to make more space for myself on a lot of fronts, and writing wise was one of them. And there's things in the fire, things that I needed to make space for, to work on. And also, just for like my mental well-being too, I just needed to like have a little more space. And it was not an easy decision. This is something I have been back and forth about for almost that exact amount of time, like a year plus here. So ultimately, I just knew that I wouldn't be able to show up for the podcast in the way that I wanted to, and be able to do everything that I needed to. So I decided that it would be better to leave on a high note than to be in that situation. I don't want to be Michael Jordan coming back when you should have retired a long time ago. So I wanted to leave on the high note.
Play baseball, then come back.
Yeah, and then and then come back again. It's just like, I just wanted to leave at the right time.
Yeah, before we get to everybody and I throw it to Nick, I do want to say how much we've appreciated your voice on this show. From the bottom of my heart, I just don't know how some of these shows would have been without your presence. So it means a lot to us that you're letting us have this chat with you and give you the farewell you deserve, man, because you've contributed so much. And I know the audience is going to miss you as well. So, but I'm going to turn it over to Nick. I don't know. He had an idea about how he wanted to package the next part. So what do you got, buddy?
Man, I have so much, but with this kind of being Brent's final episode here and a send off, if you will, I do want to start it off with, if everyone wants to take the opportunity to express appreciation for bringing on the show, I want to open that up as we also think about the first question. And the first question is going to be, tell us about a moment from the show where Brent said something that made you go, oh, or ah, that really just clicked and resonated for you. So doors open for anyone want to express their gratitude, give space for that right now. But the first question is, what's the moment on the show where Brent said something that really resonated with you that made you do a double take?
It was when Will was interviewing Brent, and Brent was new to the show, and Brent started blubbering, like for real, seriously crying. And I was like, and this is before I got on the show, right? So like I was listening because my friend Brent was on the show, but then I was also like, who the fuck is this Will dude? And I don't even remember. No, I do remember. You were talking about friends in Atlanta who didn't make it. And I was like, on one side, I was like, there's this moment going on, right? On the other side, I have people in Chicago where I'm like, I don't know what happened to them. So it felt like cousins. Felt very real. And I was like, I think we have more in common than I think we had.
Love that. Someone else? Do you remember that, Brent?
Oh, I remember that entirely. I think it was and I'm going to try to tell the story without choking up again, but it was the Pride episode, and Will was interviewing me, and I don't even know how we got on the topic, but I had mentioned in particular this story about one of my friends was trans and passed, and the family refused to bury her as a woman, and not only did they refuse to bury her as a woman, they wouldn't let us come to the funeral. And so I remember that moment, and I think that that was my first time actually talking about that out loud in years, actually. So and I don't think you know what? Now that I think about it, I don't think I've talked about that since up until now, actually. So yeah, so I remember that. I remember that moment quite deeply, actually. Yeah.
And I was in Auburn, California. It was actually the first weekend that I met Shingai. We were on our retreat for the ghost class. So like I remember everything about it. Okay. It was a big week for me. But also yeah. Okay, I'm done.
Nice. I will say I have several moments that stick out. Mostly
Shingai, hold on. Shingai brought up a very, very point in the chat here. LP kicked it off with one of the most heartfelt moments from Brent.
I know.
This is a hard follow-up, LP. Thank you.
Oh, I'm gonna go lighter for this one, and I might have another one that I want to bring up later. But yeah, I appreciate all the heartfelt moments. I mean, with all of you guys, especially during the Pride episodes, especially when you guys allowed me and Kate to sit and talk about Zoe and all those moments. Like I'll never forget those times, and I loved having you guys in that space to talk to you. But mine, I feel like Brent had more influence over my over my thesis novel decision than anybody else did when I was in grad school. And it was just something random he said, and it's still something I keep bringing up to him. And I don't know if I realized how often this sticks in my mind, but I can't remember why we were talking about it. I wish I could remember the episode, but you're just like, sometimes we just want to read stories where Black people fly dragons and fly, ride dragons and fly spaceships. And like, there was something about that I cannot let go of. And I know I've said it a million times, but that was the kickoff when I looked at all of the synopses I wrote for grad school, trying to figure out what I was going to do, which one I was going to focus on, write, and revise for grad school as my thesis novel. It was the one that had Black folks flying spaceships. And I was just like, well, that's the one I've got to do, and I didn't realize at the time, but like that Brent's voice hasn't left my head on that. And like a lot of my, when I do sit down to write, because writing's been hard lately, when I do sit down to write, I think about the freedom and the intent of that, and it's like, I just want to see Black folks doing stuff that we don't normally see ourselves doing, and so that's something I will literally never let go of. So
like benefit from capitalism.
Thank you, Brent. You and your capitalism.
I'm glad that resonated. I can't take 100% credit for that, just because I think I first heard it from P. Jelly Clark. Maybe not those exact words, but something similar. When he
said it to me, Brent.
No, and when and it's kind of funny how like that lineage of like the words we say, we don't know the impact it has, because like when he said it to me in a writing group years ago, it stuck with me enough for me to repeat it to you, and so I think that's really powerful. So yeah, no, I'm glad it stuck like that.
Floor is open.
Okay, so we haven't been on many episodes together, which is one of my biggest griefs about you leaving right now, because I'm just like, Brent, you're one of my favorite people. Don't go. Don't go.
Oh, same.
But a very quick thing that I think that I will always remember that you said was we were having a conversation about writing, like cooking. And one of the things that I was talking about, it was how I felt like revision felt like washing dishes. But then you mentioned that revision is actually the cooking for you, and that it's like where you put in the spices and where like all of the creativity comes together. And that completely reframed for me my relationship to coming to revision and editing. So I'm really grateful for that. And also just like the first time that I met Brent was Clarion, San Diego. Brent was there with our cohort every event that he possibly could be. And I stayed a little bit afterwards, and Brent took me around town and took me to like the gay area of San Diego. And it was the way that you just immediately became someone who I would love forever. You're so easy to love. Thank you for choosing me, and thank you for choosing all of us.
Well, I will say I very much needed to hear that. I'm going to break the chain a little bit and give a memory of Shingai that stuck with me. I'm going to do this for everyone, but I want to do this one for you now, Shingai, because this one really, I don't know if you realize like how much impact it had. But that day when we went to Balboa Park and we went into the museums, and we were in the Museum of Us, and I'm probably going to choke up talking about it, but there was this display they were talking about immigration, and there was a map of people who passed crossing the border or trying to get across the border where the bodies were unidentified. And they had orange tags for the children. And I'm looking at this map and I'm clearly like emotional about it. And you just come up to me and you're like, is it okay if I give you a hug right now? And I needed that hug so bad in that moment. So that's one of the memories like I always cherish, because not a lot of people will see like a Black man getting emotional and offer a hug, So, yeah. So that was sorry, now I'm doing it. Yeah, that was a moment for me. So thank you for that. I will always remember that.
A lifetime of hugs.
Yeah.
Speaking of hugs. Oh, sorry. Jenna, floor is yours.
Okay, it's just a small thing, and I wasn't sure if it fit the question, but I'm going to share it anyway. Like Brent, we also haven't gotten to share that many episodes, and I'm also very sad about that. But one of the things that made me really happy was that we've shared a couple of times, I think, on episodes, and then also just talking after or before, is the shared love for the Acacia trilogy.
Yes.
And that you will bring up David Anthony Durham's work. And like, there's so few people who have read it and are talking about it. And so as soon as the first time you brought up like that trilogy, I was like, oh my God, yes, thank you. Somebody else that we can talk to about it.
I am such a diehard for that trilogy. I will always sing its praises. So yeah, no, that I actually remember the first time like you got excited about it. I was like, yes, like someone else, not just me. Like, yeah, no, that's such an now that we talk, every time we talk about it, I'm just like, I want to go shove the book in people's faces. But
right? Yeah. Other than that, you've just been like the most joyful and welcoming and beautiful presence, and like always so uplifting of everyone around you. Like both sitting with us in things that are difficult and tough and uplifting everyone at the same time. So like, I don't know, it takes a special soul to be able to recognize pain and like sit in it with people while also pulling them up. And like, it's just really beautiful. And I wish we'd gotten to share more space.
That means a lot. Thank you.
That's what I was going to say.
Wait, what?
I mean, that wasn't entirely a joke, actually. I was gonna do the gratitude thing, if that's all right, Nick. Because like Shingai and Jenna, I didn't get to be on too many episodes with you, which is a huge regret. But one thing I really remember when I first started like stepping into the writing community and like getting onto Twitter and like the 2018, 2019 days. I don't remember specifics or specific threads or posts or anything, but I do remember like your presence as just being like a welcoming and open space. And then particularly through 2020 and the pandemic and FireCon, and like in retrospect, I was going through a lot. I mean, everybody was going through a lot in 2020. But when FireCon was going on, I was going through like pretty traumatic period, and none of that seeped into FireCon in that experience. That was like really, really beautiful. And my like earliest memories of Brent are just like shepherding in, and doing a lot of that community work, and demonstrating, being like one of the key people to demonstrate to me that like, despite the like writing drama that used to come up on Twitter every now and then, or a lot, Brent and folks like Brent were really like a huge reason to stick with it and be here.
Wow, that's huge, because I remember Twitter days, and like that was, yeah, it definitely was like just a lot of toxicity. But yeah, no,
Your arms was something that people lived for.
I did. So people were actually making memes about it. Like it was like that was a crazy thing. Yeah, that was funny. So yeah, that was probably one of the more. It was a lot of work, but that was one of the more like joyful things I think in that year that I was able to do. So I'm glad it was a safe space for you.
I love this. So I'll two-parter here. Going back to Shingai's hugs, right? The first time I met Brent was at Worldcon 2022. I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a while.
No, it was
2021.
21.
21, yeah.
And he wasn't the only
So
one
it's the
there,
first time I
bitch.
seen Brent. It's not about you today, sir.
Sameem was there too, dum-dum. How about that?
I'm aware. I've met Sameem multiple times, though. Well, met Brent in person the first time. I had no idea. Brent's a little bit taller than me, but straight up gave him a hug. I was like, dude, you are built like a damn linebacker. Like, did not expect that for whatever reason. Like, it's always interesting, when you hear someone's voice all the time and then you meet them in person, and then the magnification that comes across through like, just video and like re-listening to episodes, like it's just like tenfold of what everyone's saying. Like you always create space for people and things like that. And that's something I've always been super appreciative of, and one of kind of like the aha episodes, not maybe episodes. We did an intersectionality episode together. And I think that was part of maybe one of our military ones that you and I did together, because it was like Nick, cis straight white male, Brent, and we actually like figured out where do our lives cross and our experiences cross based on like shared experiences and stuff like that. And I think that was a really that was a fun episode, because I already knew like there's some cross in our life paths and stuff like that and experiences, but I didn't realize how much it was. And it really just opened up the door to, you probably relate to somebody out there everywhere in some way, shape, or form. And it's, just being able to treat people with kindness based on that is huge. And that's one of my episode takeaways and my appreciation for Brent at the same time, of always, being that person that creates that space there.
Aw.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of jealousy hearing a lot of you guys talking, because the one or two times Brent and I were supposed to meet, something got in the way, and he and I still have not met in real life or in person. And
Not yet.
We will. But I feel like, and this is something I've been wanting to say kind of to you all for a while. I've always grown up, and I've talked about this, in small rural communities and not a lot of Black folks. And I grew up. Anyway, the point is I don't have a lot of Black friends, right? And so like you guys, and Brent is somebody, when he came on the show and I first got to get to know him, even though we've never met face to face, I always felt like I could always reach out to you. And I always feel like I could always be like, hey man, I'm kind of dealing with a thing. Can I talk to you? And that is, I feel like I know I should have done it many other times. I've been doing it more recently. But I always knew, regardless of all these years, like regardless of whether we've seen each other and face to face or not, I could always reach out to him. And that is something that I will continue to do, whether he likes it or not. No, I'm just kidding. But really though, it really means a lot to me. Again, I don't have a ton of Black friends in my life. And I loved having you and here, someone I can always lean on. So I really appreciate that.
Well, that will never change. So don't worry about that.
I just had to say it because everybody's like, "Oh, I saw Brent and I hugged him." I was like, "Well, I want to do that too."
It will happen. I give good hugs. That's one thing I do pride myself on. I give good hugs. Yeah. So, well, I guess I did a Shingai memory, so I guess I want to do memories for everyone. Big one for most of y'all were there for this. It's just, I don't think Jenna and Marshall were there, but when Fire won the Hugo Award in DC that year, the support and the love that I felt I was blown away. Like I still tell people about it, because like I was like, that whole auditorium yelled like it was a professional football game. Like that was an incredible moment, and getting to share it with some of y'all, and like just like that was I was so grateful. I think that was actually when me and you first met, Nick. So that was like amazing to have you there for that.
We had 3 hours of recordings after that too.
Yeah.
That was listen to those episodes.
That was a great night. That was a good night. That was amazing. So I also remember when I think when we first got started, Marshall. I just remember like I don't know. I just felt like I was like I feel like I could just I don't have any hair because I'm bald, but I feel like I could let the hair down, metaphorically, I could let my hair down. Like when I came on the podcast, you guys just did such a because, being in publishing, like one of the things that I've always done, for better or worse, is just like try to stick to who I am, regardless of, trends or people or politics or whatever. And you guys never like flinched from that. Like you always let me just be myself and unapologetic. It's very easy to, be kind and to uplift people. I think when you're in a space where you're valued and appreciated and people allow you to be yourself. And I guess these are all going to be more compliments too than also gratitude. But like, I appreciate the intelligence and insight that like all of you bring to these various topics we've talked about on these episodes. Like there's been times because I'll listen when I'm not actually on the episode, and I'm like, and this was before I told y'all that I was leaving. I just kind of knew already. I'm like, oh, it's in good hands. Like I'm fine. Like it's a lot easier to like step back knowing that that people like you guys are like who's going to be left behind. So. I say all the time, I'm just like, damn, like Jenna and Shingai and Sameem and LP, they're just also damn intelligent. Like they just like have like such depth to the things that they have to say. So it just was, yeah. There would be times like I could have kept listening for like another hour of the episode. So, yeah, I feel like I can step away and like it's bittersweet, but I also feel like it is in perfectly good hands.
Oh, emotions.
Oh, lovely. So, if anyone wants to share anything else,
Is it time for me to share what Will has given me to share? He made sure that I would share it at the end because he is dramatic.
Yeah.
Oh, he is very dramatic. So no.
Not yet.
No, I don't want that. No, we will wait to the end as he commands. We'll.
We know it's the end. We know it's the end. We'll do that.
That SOB.
Give me the signal when you're ready.
I will give you the bat signal here.
Well, we know Will has something to deliver, so we'll wait.
Yeah, Will has something to deliver. We'll get to it at some point.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, so throughout the years, all of us kind of working together and things like that. Because Brent's been really good, at least for me, and I'll speak for myself. You guys can trip in on this one, but Brent's always been really good at offering recommendations based on your work in progress and comps, or like something you love or something he read that he loved that he thought you would enjoy. Like, and I want to, maybe take a little bit of time and return the favor back to Brent and give Brent a recommendation on something he needs to read as a last request from the group to Brent. And I know it's adding to your to be read list here.
I will take it. Yeah.
And this can be based on so many different things what you want to share with Brent. But reading recommendations to Brent, what do we got?
Does it have to be reading?
No.
Okay.
Media adjacent.
Gotcha.
I will take it. Yes.
All right. Brent, do you read nonfiction at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I have a rec because I read it last week. It's called Fearless, Sleepless, Deathless. What Fungi Taught Me About Nourishment, Poison, Ecology, Hidden History, Zombies, and Black Survival.
Okay.
By Maria Pinto. So it's a black fungi forager who writes about like connecting the fungi that she forages here in like North America to Jamaican history and like histories of zombies in Jamaica, histories of mushrooms in Jamaica. And like it's just like really beautiful, really well told book about black survival through mushrooms.
That sounds pretty awesome, actually. Yes, yeah. Marshall, you're gonna put all these in the show notes so I can come back to them later, right?
What? Yes.
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
doing
Cool.
that. I'm doing that currently.
Cool. I just want to make sure because I was like, I'm coming back. I'm gonna grab all the recs.
Jenna, put the name of that in the chat for me, please. Thank you. I gotta write this down. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I just want to make sure I can retrieve it at some point.
Yeah, I got you.
So these might be re-watches, but I just want you to watch them because I'm watching them and I want to talk about them with you. So I'm watching Deep Space Nine right now, and I would love it if you were like wanted to talk about that. Yeah, and then the other one is Steven Universe. I don't know if you've watched Steven Universe.
Oh my gosh, I haven't like watched. So I'm really bad about like watching a bunch and then like skipping and then coming back and it's being sporadic. But what I have seen, I adore it. So I do need to actually watch it fully. So I would love to do that.
Yeah, I think in the queer love storytelling, it makes me think about you and the way that you write romance.
Really? That's cool. Okay, that's such a huge compliment because that show is so popular and so beloved. So yeah.
Two of my favorites. I would love to rewatch Deep Space Nine. Honestly, I watched Steven Universe with my kids and my whole family when they were younger, and it is like one of our cliche, I know, core memories. But we always refer back to those songs and those stories. Steven Universe is brilliant, so good.
You sound like you have a healthy family.
Indeed, we're working on staying that way.
So my recommendation, Brent, I know I've talked about this before. In the current space of, it's not light reading, but it's not super deep thinking. It's just an enjoyable read. But it's Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manansala. I absolutely love this book.
It's a good book,
and it's a thriller mystery that flirts a little bit on the edge of romance. The romance tension is definitely there. But based on the ADHD conversation from earlier and stuff like that, like this is one where it's like, you'll get wrapped up, but you won't be able to like spin out on it. Like it's a good, just solid read. And it's part of a series too, that she does as well. Got a lot of food references, Filipino culture and things like that, which is fantastic. So I'm going to recommend that one for you if you haven't already read it.
I just feel like you're outside. So rather than recommend you something that I've read, I'm going to recommend some things that haven't come out yet.
Okay.
Ring Shout on Saturn is Sheree Renee Thomas's next short story collection. Apparently her short story collections are a trilogy. So this is the second in the trilogy from Third Man Books, I believe, in June. And this is not a well-kept secret. But I find that people don't know that there is a Ashante WIlson novel on the way.
I have heard about rumbles.
You know, I know someone who's read it, and he says it's fantastic. And it's somebody Creole like yourself, who got that good taste. A little gay too. You'll figure it out. But he says it was great. So, right. If you want to get a little book club going for that one, I wouldn't mind.
All right. No, I love Ashante WIlson, so that's very good news to hear.
I know you do.
Okay. So I got future work, but I love it. Honestly, yes, this is gonna be cool.
I'm always really bad at these. And I'm like, oh, you probably have already read all of the things already. But something I read a couple of years ago was Letters to a Writer of Color, which is like a essay collection from a bunch of different folks around. I think there's a few SFF folks and then folks from like around the literary sphere, both fiction and nonfiction and poetry. And a lot of them were like, sharing different experiences, but a lot of it was like, I see you type of things, like these types of experiences that you don't, we talk about them. But like it just makes you feel seen. It made me feel really seen. Some of these things in there. It's been a while since I read it, so I can't remember specifics, but I really enjoyed it and I'll probably revisit it.
Sorry, I'm trying to capture all of this so I get it for the things, but I got a recommendation.
So many gems in these racks.
I know. I'm like, you guys are giving me gold right now, so I'm taking it.
So my recommendations, I have two. One by a Black author and one by an author I know we both have read. And actually, you turned me on to the first one. Adrian Tchaikovsky, The Children of Time.
Yeah.
So he just came out with his fourth one. That's not my recommendation because I haven't read it yet. But the fourth in that series came out. I don't know if you read all three of them, but there's a book that he wrote that really kind of captured my imagination a little bit, and it kind of reminds me of some of the reminds me a little bit, well, not really of Project Hail Mary a little bit, but you get what I'm saying. But it's really cool. It's called Shroud. And I don't know if you haven't read that by him. I think you'll really dig it. It's like essentially trying to penetrate a planet for whatever. I don't want to spoil anything, but like the Shroud is the planet that they're trying to deal with, and it's badass. It's really freaking cool. The other one I got recommended by Sameem, actually, that I fell in love with, that I've talked about in this show a few times, and it's Lone Woman by Victor LaValle, which is just absolutely amazing. If you haven't read it, definitely pick that up.
I have not, so
yes. Yes, so read that.
Did you say I recommended that?
You mentioned it on a podcast at some point that it was on your read list or something. I literally remember you talking about Lone Woman.
I don't think I read it.
Do I have a weird memory? Where did I get this recommendation from? I swear it was you. I think I talked about it on the show. You recommended it. I might be wrong. That
I recommended it, and I'm taking it as a recommendation now. So,
well, anyway, it's a horror piece of this Black woman that is moving across the country to start her life over again, and she has this trunk with her, and it's like this horror cosmic-y thing. It's so freaking cool. It's really, really neat. So you definitely got to check it out. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's badass. But I'll put that in there too. Was it someone else? Was it not Sameem? Okay.
I feel like I remember it being brought up. I just don't remember by who. But
it was right before I went to that camping trip I go to every year, because I downloaded it and I was like, oh well,
maybe
if they like
it was Will.
It could have been.
Maybe.
Easy to get us mixed up.
Well, I mean, I don't know about that.
True.
But anyway,
it's the beard.
Yeah, it's definitely the beard. Anyway, whoever recommended it, it's an amazing novel, and I really, really enjoyed it. So definitely check it out.
Recs. You guys are,
this
is all good stuff. So yes, and the fact there's something special about knowing that, like, the reason I love Recs is because it's like I know if I commit to the rec, there's someone I can talk to about it afterwards. It's like it's not a solitary experience anymore. So that's what I'm looking forward to most with all of these.
Nice.
I like it. Do we have any other recommendations before I get to my last segment? Okay.
Yeah.
So, Brent, I'm going to flip the table here.
Okay.
And be like, Brent. So, Brent, you've been on the show for quite some time.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about, because it genuinely feels like all of us have been on the show for like 5-6 years together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I don't see the time gaps of when people joined, like, and I know they're there, but like I don't see it and I don't feel it there. But Brent, I do want to flip it on you. Everyone's been chatting about you and things like that, but I want to give you the opportunity yourself to share any memories, any last words of wisdom, if you will. Let's go share with any memories of impacts of working with us where we may have taught you something that you didn't expect, or a new insight from one of us in our conversations that you took away from.
All right. So I guess one of this first memory that came to my mind is this was probably the time I think I was the most nervous on the podcast ever, was when we had Max Gladstone as a guest. I don't think I was able to get through like a single question without feeling like I was stuttering the whole time. And I was such a fan. Yeah, and I was such a fan. And I was just thinking, I was like, oh my God, the guys think I'm probably like just not keeping it together well at all right now. Like I couldn't stop stuttering. There was no coherence when I was talking about but he was gracious. It was a good time. I got through it. So that was cool. I always remember that. Like I mentioned before, I will always remember after winning the Hugo and just having you all there, and having this community of people that it's one thing to win for yourself, but it's another thing when it felt like a win for everybody. That was the cool part. I think everybody felt, which I was more than happy to divvy out. If I could have split the Hugh, cut that little trophy up and given everyone a piece of it, I would have, because it was just, I don't know. it was really beautiful to see, like, in that moment, like, just how much it meant to so many people, that, you know, the things that we had been doing, and, you know, that I had been part of, and then being able to jump right into, like, talking about it on the podcast, because you guys were there and were able to record. It was really cool. And it was just really, it was definitely emotional and intense to just capture all those emotions right then and there. And, like, you know, I think that's what made it such a special experience. So that was a cool memory. I think, now I'm like, wheels are turning. I'm trying to think of all the shows we talked about. I also think I really loved the episodes where we did the Just Keep Writing While Black, and, like, where we were able to bring in, like, Black authors who, you know, I got to bring to life the thing that Marshall talked about. Like, sometimes Black people just want to ride dragons. Well, sometimes Black writers just want to talk about the fun stuff. They don't want to have to talk about trauma and persecution and oppression and all that. Some of us just want to talk about magic. Some of us just want to talk about the cool little world we built or whatever. So being able to give Black writers a space to do that, and just to be able to relax and to talk craft too. I remember we did that, and I actually had a few of those writers reached out to me later on. They were like, that was the first time I ever got to just talk about craft as a writer, and, like, the things I'm good at as a writer. And I didn't have to talk about, you know, I didn't have to bring in trauma, or I didn't have to bring in, like, oppressive politics into it. I could just talk about what I'm good at. Like, I'm a good writer. Let me be a good writer. So that was, you know, that felt good, being able to do that for some Black writers too. The Pride episodes were amazing. I will say it again, Marshall, because I think I said it in that episode. Every queer kid would have been happy to have a father like you, and to have been. I can't tell you the difference it would have made in my life if, and not to say, you know, my parents, they definitely weren't, like, you know, straight up homophobic or anything, but to just have a parent like you who acknowledges who their child was right from the start, early on, and letting them know that, like, you're loved and accepted, and I'm going to treat you just like any other kid. You know, I can't tell you the difference that probably would have made in my life. So I'm just going to say it again, that, you know, that is a special thing. And unfortunately, in this world, it's still a rare thing, and I wish it wasn't. But yeah, so that is something that, you know, getting to hear you and Kate talk about, like, how you accepted your son early on and just made that choice. And yeah, that was really beautiful. So that's something that profoundly, like, and to be honest, like, it healed something in me, I think, because being able to know that, like, there are parents like this out there, and that this, you know, that the things that me and, you know, some of my friends had to go through across a various spectrum of, you know, good to bad to worse, that it didn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. So, yeah, so that's something that's, you know, stuck with me.
Thanks, man. That means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I swear, that changed me profoundly. Like, being able to just hear your story. So, speaking of children, Nick, this is more of a background thing, not so much the show, but being able to see your kids, like, come in the background in and out throughout the years. Like, literally, I have watched your children grow up, like, in seeing them come behind the screen while you're recording, come up, give you a hug, come up and ask you for something, come up and, like, you know, say goodnight. That's something I'm going to miss, because it's just like, it almost felt like by proxy, I've been watching them grow up all these years. So,
oh man, that,
yeah,
yes,
so it seems like a small thing, but it's such a big thing,
right?
Yeah. And
yeah, no, 100%. I don't think you'd recognize them right now, my boys, at least.
No, I mean, I was just talking with Marshall. He's got kids going off to college now. Like, yeah. So this is
yeah.
We were just doing college tours last week, and Brent's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, Rowan's gonna be a senior next year." And he's like, "Excuse me?"
Rowan was a child. Like, Rowan was in middle school. So, you know, it's just it's in these small ways that, like, I think, like, our lives have been interwoven, that, you know, that you don't even really think about, because it's not just hopping on the camera and talking about stuff. Like you really, truly, you start to see each other as like on a really deep level like that. And yeah, so all of that sticks with me. This is one of those episodes where I just sat back and was profoundly impressed, particularly like with Jenna on this episode. The Sinners episode, that one was just like a really, 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 like, I was like, wow, this is good shit. Like, like this is a perspective that I don't think I would ever been able to articulate, and it was articulated so well. So that is a memory I definitely have. Sameem, ours is the one I have of us is off the show actually, but I think it was that night in it was Lavender Con, and we were sitting in that hotel lobby, and we had this. We ended up walking somewhere, and then we had this really good conversation. I can't remember where we walked, but I just remembered, like, after the conversation was over, I was like, damn, Sameem was really cool. Like, I really enjoyed that little walk, that little conversation we had. And I'm sure it was Lavender Con, because I think I was staying at the Moxie. Yeah, I was staying in the Moxie, so it was the Lavender Con. Yeah, that was a really cool conversation. I don't know, I just have it in my head, like the feeling I had after the conversation was over with. I was like, oh, I just feel lighter now. Like, that just felt like that was just, yeah, that was a good
Despite
conversation.
the humidity in DC.
Yeah. I mean, LP, I think there's memories abound here, but I'll try to distill them to a few. Well, I guess what I will always remember, and I mean, it's not as if, we're never going to talk again, but I will always just remember, like, your frankness about everything. Like, you will always say the thing that, like, you would say it, and I was like, I actually agree with it. I was like, I don't know if I would have ever been bold enough or brave enough to just come right out and say it that way, but I am in full agreement. I still disagree with you about Chuck Austin's X-Men, though. We just not going to agree on that one.
It's so funny because I didn't bring it up.
I did. I remember that one. I was like, that one we're not going to agree about. Like, that's something, I'm like, that's a sticking point.
Look, but we still love each other.
I know. But I also, I really do appreciate just, like, you take writing so seriously. And I don't mean that as that is 100% a compliment. Like, that is, like, you understand it, like, you understand the power of that art form. And I think when you talk about it on this show, like, it is definitely with a passion that I think a lot of writers who think they're serious about writing could stand to have and partake of. So, yeah. And I just
want to tell you the only reason why you're allowed to leave.
Weren't y'all working on a novella together?
We were, and it's totally my fault that that we will get back to it. We've talked about it. I take 100% responsibility.
We talked about it being on the calendar for next summer.
Yeah, we did, and I'm sticking to it. I will.
And now JKW and everyone who's listening is a witness.
Yeah, it's now in the universe, so now it's like it's been externalized. I can't take it back. But no, 100% my fault. We were working on something.
I don't know if it was 100% your fault, but it's still in the drive.
I'm taking 85 at least then, but yeah. So yeah, no, it has truly been like an honor and privilege to be part of this. Like, when I first started, I had no idea that this thing would be like such a sizable part of my life. Like 6 years almost. Yeah, 6 years. Like when I started this in 2020, this was like, oh, these guys are really cool. I'm stuck in the house right now. I really can't do shit anyway. So let's talk about writing and have fun. And then it went past that to being like, I respect them as colleagues. And then it went past that to be like, these are my friends, like, and these are people I mean, hell, I'm crying on camera. I'm like, I'm telling these stories that, like, I haven't been able to, like, pull out of myself for like years. So, it just goes to show the the level of trust and, because it takes a lot to choose to be vulnerable with somebody. You have to have a certain degree of there's got to be a certain degree of trust. You got to understand that when what you're putting out there is you're giving people the power to hurt you if that's what they choose to do with it. And I knew you guys never would. So, this has just been totally an honor to be a part of this. And I am, sad to step away, but I am more than proud of everything that we've done up until this point. So
I love that. I wanted to say this group has kind of ruined any other writing critique groups or workshops, because it's y'all not my crew. I really don't want to I don't want to do that with anyone anymore. I made that decision years ago, but this just validates it for me, because it's I can tell Brent something and he's gonna know something about me that's correlating that no one else is gonna identify, because he actually knows me.
Yeah.
So y'all have ruined other writing groups for me. Thank you.
Okay.
I guess
I don't want to be part of them anyways.
Don't feel bad about it.
I don't feel bad, because that just means the time was well spent. And I think, that just goes to speaking to the power of community and having those friendships and having those people that because it's not just sharing a piece of writing. It's not just sharing a work in progress. It's sharing a piece of your soul in a way. So that is something that you should want the right people to see, the right people to help you through that process. And, I can say without a doubt that I feel that way about this group 1,000%.
Thanks, man. It's been awesome having you all this time. Honestly, it's been amazing.
Well,
love you so much.
Yeah.
Love y'all.
I wouldn't be here without you.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah. Well, should we turn it over to the other one?
We got a final message for you, Brent.
Oh yeah,
all right.
Scooby-Doo. Johnny
Right,
Bravo.
I believe.
Here's the bat signal, Jenna.
Okay, the bat signal has been received. Everyone, I am now representing Will. Brent, I wish I could be there with all of you tonight, but the wigs are calling and the rehearsals have started. I'm taking all the credit for Brent being on the show. LOL. I started talking to Brent on Twitter about Exo Squad and a little remembered cartoon called Invasion America. Commented on his arms because the bitch acts like he isn't showing off, but he is, and we are here for it. I was only on the podcast for a few months when I said to Nick and Marshall, we should ask Brent on and do some episodes. They agreed, of course. And from the moment you came on, Brent, we all leveled up. This might get a little woo-woo for some, but I'll tell you, the real person to introduce us was my partner who passed away years earlier. I kept a journal by my bed since I was a kid, writing dreams down, great for stories, and most days waking up, I had no idea what I wrote down. It became second nature. I used to have dreams about Mike talking to me about life. One of the last 2 nights of my most vivid dreams, I wrote down a series of names. Some first and last, others a description. That was in 2009. One was Nick like the sun. Turns out it was our own Nick Bright. And another, written word for word, was Brent Lambert. I have met 8 of the 11 people I wrote down. All I knew from the feeling of that dream was that these 11 people would have a big impact on my life. From day one in the show, you brought joy, knowledge, and a love of story. Your energy is infectious. Your feedback on my stories is priceless. You make me a better writer by sharing space. Most importantly, you are my friend. Someone I can go to and be vulnerable, act a mess, and you are patiently listening and guiding me. To have the honor of being your friend brought me to a higher purpose, my higher self. You are like a light that feels warm and safe. I have said this on the podcast before, but it must be said. When I was little, I always wanted brothers, and I couldn't ask for better brothers than Marshall, Nick, and you. I can't wait to see you on your book tour and to be present for all the things you will accomplish in the future. So no goodbyes here, just good journeys. Love you, Will.
So he actually told me about this dream years ago, actually. So I kind of knew that. We had a conversation one night, and he told me, he was just like, yeah, he was like, Michael told me I would meet you one day. and you know, and I think that I was very impacted by that, just because, you know, one, it just kind of made me feel like, okay, well, I everything I've heard about Michael, this was an amazing, great man. So if he took the time to reach out from the beyond to let you know that, like, I'm someone you need to meet, that to me was like the highest praise. So, yeah. So thank you, Will. I'm sad you're not here, but you are right. There are no goodbyes here. I will see you soon.
Personally, I'm glad he's not here, but I'm sad to see you go.
Well, I guess I should do a final wrap up here, as we are approaching the hour, almost on the dot. Once again, I'll say this to the audience. I guess I should speak to, you know, the audience, because I really haven't spoken to them yet. Thank you for the support. Thank you for making me feel like my opinions and my voice actually carried weight and mattered with you. Despite appearances that I don't always feel that way. I don't always think that, you know, the things I think and have to say do matter. So, you know, it's always great to have those kind of affirmations, and we have such a great audience. So, you guys have been amazing. It's just been a really beautiful journey, seeing the growth of this podcast and seeing how people resonate with each and every one of us. And yeah, I hope you continue to support everyone, even as I'm gone, because I know I'm going to still be listening. So I need you to continue to listen as well. And yeah, as Will said, this is not goodbye. This is just to see you later.
And this has been Just Keep Writing, a podcast for writers, by writers, to keep you writing. You can find us at justkeepwriting.org. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Feel free to reach out to any of us on our social medias, and please jump in our Just Keep Writing Discord channel. Links to all of that is in the show notes. Lastly, please support our show by going to patreon.com/justkeepwriting. We offer daily writing prompts, early access to podcast episodes, and much more. Thanks for listening, and just keep writing.